after firing this thing up for a second there, and it totally smoked out the shop, so I had to wait a minute to get things going. But anyways, welcome to, I think this is part 9 of this build. What I'm going to do now is I need to update the computer, so I'm going to plug my hard drive dude into him. Oh, I'm not sure which direction this is supposed to go in there. This doesn't really matter. So I'm going to plug that guy in. I'm going to turn the ignition on, and it should supposedly update this thing. Sweet, so that's working. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about here. Basically just letting this download or whatever. I downloaded the software update, so we'll let that go, run it through, do all that stuff, and then hopefully get the motor actually warmed up, see if the transmission is going to work, see if the brakes are working, etc., etc. Episode 9 should be a pretty good one. Let's get on it. Alright, so after updating everything, it looks like I get it to fire off and then it die, fire and then die, fire and then die. So there's something weird going on. Did a little bit internet voodoo research, and I got to basically a page. I basically like reset the system. So now I'm just gonna go through. It looks like a bunch of stuff. So LS 24 tooth. It's a stock cam. It is a 1041 on there. I only have one. Drive-by-wire, no. Wire transmission control, no. 8 injectors for 8 cylinders. Oh, injector flow rate. I need to look that up because I have no idea what a stock injector flow rate is. Okay, we're back. Everything got updated supposedly. It made like a really loud clank noise, so that was a little sketchy, but I don't know. I tried it again and it all went through. So now I'm gonna try firing it up. We'll see how loud it actually gets. And yes, I'm gonna wear hearing protection because it's very loud and I like my hearing. So let's go ahead and try this again. I'm gonna really focus on the oil pressure just to make sure I'm good there. Everything else is kind of whatever, but let's give this a shot. Yeah, that's what I was running into before. So for some reason it's not staying running. So same thing. It's just idling and dying, idling and dying. I gotta figure that out. Okay, I figured it out. Oh, I got some weird noises now. That's great. Alrighty, so I don't know if you guys are able to hear me or not, but I had no oil pressure. At least the sensor was showing no oil pressure. And it's a new sensor, so I'm going to assume it works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm basically just going to pop the valve covers off and see if there's any oil up in here. And that'll tell us if we're getting oil or not. And after that, I'm going to need to basically crank the motor over and see if there's anything coming out. This looks very dry in here. So I might need to work on priming this motor a little bit better because I'm not seeing any. There's zero oil coming out of all of these push rods at the top. So I might need to bust out the old weed sprayer again and keep pumping and turn the motor over until it actually comes out. So we'll update with that in a second. All right, everybody, so got the valve cover pulled off now. What I ended up doing is I stuck the weed sprayer, dude, back into position. I got it pumping, got it full of oil. Now I'm just slowly going through and making sure each rocker, at least on this side, gets oil. And if this side has oil, I'm assuming the other side will have oil as well. So based on that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them getting oil now. So basically I'm just gonna keep letting it pump it up. I cranked the motor over a little bit just to, you know, slowly change over so each other one gets oil. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep pumping and cranking. Another funny thing is just to check my oil pressure sensor to know it works, is I got it turned on here and we're sitting at 3.6 psi, so it's pretty good if you ask me. But anyways, I noticed that, but also something else I was looking at with my throttle. When I go full throttle, my throttle position sensor is on the bottom there. As I open it up, foot to the floor, I'm only showing about 84 degrees. So that's another thing, but whatever. Just to get this thing running and driving, we'll hopefully get this oil situation figured out. So I'm gonna keep working on that. Also, the trans temp gauge seems to be working. We're sitting at about, I don't know, 60 degrees or something, so that's cool too. All right, next update, I got oil to all 8 rockers on this side. I decided to pop off the driver's side just to take a peek, and I've got it to 7 of them over here. Oops. Got it to 7 of them over here, except for this guy right here. But I blew air down through it, and I hear it hissing out somewhere. So it's definitely, it's not clogged, so not too sure what's going on there. Maybe I'm just not quite getting it at the right angle or something, but it's trying. However, there's oil all over the system at this point, so yes. One thing I did get to thinking when I was underneath, draining the oil out again to recycle it, is I did take the pan off. So I'm hoping when I took the pan off like 5 years ago that I put it back together. I can't remember, it popped off a couple of the main bearings to see if it was all okay, and I don't remember if I snugged anything back down. So I think I'm gonna pop the pan off regardless, and then make sure that it's got an O-ring and stuff in there for now, and make sure everything's torqued down. So yeah, that's that. But regardless, I do have basically the entire system's primed except for this one lifter here. So that's, I think, gonna be the next step. I'm just gonna pull off the oil pan and double check all that stuff real quick. All right, I'm bringing you guys underneath with me. When I first got the motor here, I tore it apart to see what I was working with. And basically, I didn't torque anything down. So I, in turn, kind of I forgot that I did that. So now we get to make sure everything is torqued down correctly, because I don't remember what I took apart, what I didn't. All I know is when I pulled it apart, the oil pump tube was really loose and the windage tray was really loose. I'm hoping I didn't do anything aside from those, and we're about to find out. So I'm gonna throw my doodad on there and start checking for torque. Yeah, those are all good. I'm pretty confident I did not mess with any of this. Oh, make sure we're on there. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, so got the engine all primed up. I did put a new O-ring on it. Had to wait for that, so hopefully that'll work. And something that just came in, I don't know, a little while ago. I saw it in the post in the mailbox. So I got this nice new air filter on here. So that's where it'll go for now. The only weird thing with this air filter is this pulley, the idler pulley that's right here. It's like I can barely see daylight through between it and the filter. And that's after I actually lifted it up a little bit to try to get a little bit more angle on it. And yeah, I actually did come in here and I squished one of these fins in, so hopefully that'll stay far enough away that it won't rub a hole into the air filter. So that's where that's going to sit. Aside from that, let's see if we can get any kind of oil pressure now that it's got a new O-ring in it. I got everything torqued down under there. What I'm gonna do is I have the coils unplugged right now, so we're going to crank it over and hopefully we get pressure from just cranking it. So as we can see, that 900 and whatever BS number, hopefully that'll engage and show us something. Oh, maybe. Okay, there we go. We're hitting 23. Sweet. So that was 23 PSI and the motor was only rotating about 200 RPM. So that's a good sign. That tells me that our oil pump is grabbing oil and sending it up. So now let's see if we can get this thing to actually stay running without any major issues. All right, let's try this again.
A few moments later.
Well, I seem to have made a mistake. Well, I'm kind of stuck. I don't think these mud tires do too well on slippery snow and ice. So that's great. At least that tree caught me from falling off the rest of the way. Oh boy, that's nice. And now I'm going to change the oil and go through all the fluids, make sure everything's all right. It was running pretty good towards the end of the day, but yeah, I just want to double check everything, make sure everything's just okay and solid. But for now, I think I'm going to have to end this video on that cliffhanger, I guess. We all know it runs and drives pretty good. Now all I really need to do is just get an exhaust kind of set up on this thing. Get that clearance stuff done, put the hood back on. I'm probably gonna have to modify the hood a little bit to fit with all this stuff up here. And then, yeah, go from there. Gotta figure out the shifting linkage stuff. That was something else I need to do, the transfer case linkage, because if I keep trying to go from 2 to 4, it's gonna keep popping out, actually popping off the shift linkage. And then aside from that, the only real thing that I need to do is I need to kind of adjust a little bit where the transfer linkage is, because I can't get it to stay in the 4-wheel drive high or 2-wheel drive. I just can't get it to stay in high range because I can't get it far enough over. It'll engage and then just pops out. So I gotta massage the transmission tunnel a little bit to actually get it to sit in there all the way. But yeah, aside from that, we're going to end up calling it on this video. Appreciate you guys watching all the way through. Have this thing kind of ready to go for this spring. Go have some fun with it. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.